I've redone the video that I took of the desk, mainly because I realised that moving from portrait to landscape doesn't really make good viewing. So I've only got my phone that records. My digital SLR doesn't record video, so I'm doing this on my phone. But anyway, this is so I guess a second edit. Excuse me. So yeah, the desk has taken me 2 weeks to build, possibly I don't know, 130 hours thereabouts. I should give you a bit of background actually. I suffer from chronic fatigue, ME, and insomnia, depression, various other things. Found out my right knee, the cartilage is disintegrated, and I've got an MRI soon for that. But I struggle to sleep really badly. I have done for years. You know, I used to work night shift doing security because I couldn't sleep. So anyway, so you know, I guess I'm classified as disabled, even though I don't like to classify myself as that, as I feel victimized when you say, you know, I'm disabled. Anyway, 7th of July, my cat Batfink, who I've had for 8.5 years, he became very ill. Secondary heart disease was diagnosed very quickly. Pretty much he disintegrated within about 5 days, lost half his body weight. And if ever there was a cat that was as good as a son, then he was it. He might have had 4 paws and fur, but he was a son under any other name, for me anyway, especially. And for my ex-wife as well, he helped both of us get through some very good, you know, tough times. And we pretty much spent 8.5 years with him, maybe barely a week apart from him. So anyway, I've struggled really badly since he passed away on the 7th of July. He became ill on, became ill on the 1st, the 2nd of July, and like literally 5 days between the 7th and the 11th. He just deteriorated, lost half his body weight, and I couldn't let him suffer any longer. He was, you know, he was ready to go. He made it clear. So I lost my essentially son and my best friend, and it put me in a deep, dark place, deep, dark depression, which you know, for one of the first times in my life, I contemplated killing myself, because I felt very lost. I felt very low. I mean, this little lad, he used to help me sleep every night. You know, he'd lie on my chest, I'd stroke him and I'd talk to him, and I'd fall asleep, you know, exhausted most nights, because I'd been up for, you know, half a day, whatever else. I'd been up for a couple of days, and, you know, I wasn't sleeping, whatever. The insomnia has been bad for years. So anyway, feeling very lost after I had him cremated on the 11th. It was my birthday, 53rd birthday, on the 10th. And I decided to put all my energies into doing something practical. You know, I'm pretty good with my hands. You know, I've got a lot of creative imagination, energies, whatever. Not so good practically with my hands, I guess. I'm sort of good at coming up with ideas, not so much good at, you know, good on paper, not so much good on getting them made perfect. That's why I've changed my channel name to Mr.Not.So.Perfect, because I usually create stuff that's usable, but aesthetics leave a lot to be desired, and I'm not so perfect, and nothing I created. So anyway, I decided to spend a couple of weeks or longer building a desk PC to house my water-cooled computer, which was previously in this behemoth of a case, which is the Thermaltake Core X71 2G, which I'm probably going to end up selling. I mean, it's a good case. You know, I could fit at a pinch 3 radiators in there, 2 in the bottom. You know, it's a decent case. I mean, yeah, the side panels and thumb screws are a bit crappy, to be honest. I mean, it's not really a Lee and Lee or a Silverstone, but you know, it's usable. But I wanted more because the 9900K I run is a bit of a heat monster. So I thought to myself, well, every Tom, Dick and Harry seems to be building a desk PC. Why couldn't I? I mean, you know, I've got most of the skills, I've got the ideas. And I figured, well, I wanted it as efficient as possible. And I thought, well, I don't want the radiators inside the box, because you put the radiators in the box, you're basically putting the hottest element into the box. And even though you know, you can either blow into the box or you can suck air out of the box, you're still having that radiator. And they do sort of they do use convection or refraction or whatever you want to call it, you know. So the radiator itself radiates heat. I mean, that's pretty much what it does. So I wanted something different. So what I decided to do was to put all the radiators in the left leg. I mean, the reason for that was because I knew I was going to put the motherboard and most of the sort of drives and whatever else in the left hand side of the box. You know, but I didn't want radiators in both legs, because I thought, well, you know, I'm going to have to run tube into both sides. I mean, it's going to be harder to get the air out. I just figured it would be easier to get air out of 4 radiators on one side than it would be you know, a pair of radiators either leg. So that's pretty much what I decided. I sketched up the idea in my head into paint, and you know, on my PC back then, and this is the sort of culmination of my efforts. So basically, it started life out as a IKEA wooden computer desk. I paid £20 to a guy that lives local to me. You know, I told him what I planned to do. I've sent him, you know, video pictures already. You know, he seemed pretty impressed. So, and then I needed a box, you see. I mean, most sort of desk PCs, they have a box below the desk itself. You know, like an MDF box or whatever else. But I priced them up online, and they were nearly 80 quid. And I mean, there is a local company that could have sold me the sort of lengths of, you know, MDF that, you know, I can get it cut to size or whatever else. I mean, it would have come to about £30 odd, I think. But you know, I didn't have any what's the word? I didn't have any confidence, I guess, in my abilities to screw it all together and make it look perfect. You know, and with it being MDF as well, you know, I didn't, you know, I mean, it's like, I mean, funny enough, this desk I thought was hardwood. It's actually sort of like a really fine chipboard. So it was as hard working with this desk as it would be probably working with MDF. So I decided against that, but I was selling this John Lewis coffee table, not a coffee table, a console table. I mean, I think I was asking about £30–40, but you know, I'd had it up for like 3 months on Facebook Marketplace and nobody was interested. So I thought, well, it's essentially a box with drawers. I mean, I could cut off the legs, turn it upside down, and somehow connect it to the desk. And that's pretty much what I've done. I mean, I was just get my knee pad thing for kneeling down, because my knees are so knackered. Right, so imagine this is the top of the console table here, That's like 25mm hardwood or something. And then the legs, basically, they would, you know, so you imagine you turn it upside down. That's pretty much the console table. And then the front is the bit that I cut out of the desk. And my figuring for the glass basically was, see, my old desk is an IKEA laminated desk. I mean, this thing's a monster. I actually got this for free from some guy on FreeCycle, a very nice guy. This is an IKEA thing. I mean, this is heavy duty laminated. A brilliant desk. I mean, it held like I think it was a Core X9 and a 35-inch ultra wide. No issues. I mean, Core X9 was a huge case. I mean, it wasn't much bigger than sorry, it wasn't much smaller than the Puffy. And you know, it had no problems holding that. So so I figured I lost my train of thought now. So yeah, so I figured I needed something pretty strong, and so yeah, with the old desk, my knees sit about 11 inches away from the underside, you know, of the desk. So when my chair's up here like that, pretty much there like that, and my knees were about 11 inches or so from the underside of the other desk. So I figured I'd want a box around about 11 inches. Now this one is 9.5. I mean, I can live with it. It's not perfect. But if I'd wanted it further back, I would have had to adjust the legs and the bolts and the brackets and everything else. And I sort of planned it around that 11 inches. And then I had to sort of change it to 9.5. So my knees sort of do touch it a little bit. But it's, you know, it's not too bad. I mean, there was about, I think, a 2-inch space there, so you know, with the glass desk. So now there's like 4 inches, but I can sit pretty comfortably, and my knees do sort of contact the box, but there's not a lot I can do about that. So anyway, yeah, this is it. Culmination of 2 weeks, 100 odd hours work. Thermo chill PA 120.3 radiators, which are 14 years old. They're the two top radiators. One was actually white, I think, or red, so I had to spray it quickly with black. Not the best job in the world, but it was the only paint I had. I mean, I didn't want to buy, you know, a £10 tin of Hammerite Smooth White just for paint a bloody radiator, probably never use it again, you know. The two bottom radiators are EK XE 360s. They've got EK Vardar pull. I think they're EK Vardar Evo 120s. Thermochills are running Arctic P12s in pull as well. So basically 12 fans. Actually used two two 3-fan splitters with Molex power connectors on the splitters, but because of the length from the bottom fans all the way through to the power supply, what I had to do was I had an old Hoover cable. I mean, this Hoover cable was like 10 meters long. I mean, I'm a bit of a hoarder to it, to be honest. I think it's probably because I'm a Cancerian, and I hoard everything that, you know, I think might be useful. Like, you know, I've got a drawer. Oh, that's my battery drawer. I've got a drawer full of like screws and bolts and pins and stuff like that. Stuff that, you know, like when you scrap a bit of furniture, and I like dug a bolt and a screw out of it, and I put it in a peanut butter jar because I love peanut butter, and I keep it in my drawer, or I keep it in the cupboard in the living room. And, you know, sometimes I think to myself, oh, maybe I should chuck something out. And I chuck it out, like a week later, I freaking need it. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I should have put it in my drawer. You know, it's just one of those things, isn't it? So, yeah, so anyway, I lost my train of thought again. Bloody hell, I've got such a bad memory these days. So, yeah, so the Molex cables. So I got this Hoover cable, and it's like a 13 amp 3-core cable. So I thought, right, I'll rip a couple of wires out of that. So I basically kept part of the cable actually, and I just used 2 wires. And then I've got 2 Molex. So basically I've cut the Molex off the splitters, extended them by about 4 feet, 5 feet I think, and then I've basically soldered it on either side, you know, put heat shrink on it and taped it up and all that rubbish. I mean, you know, I've had SATA cables that I've sort of cannibalized running for like 10 years, you know, running like RGB stuff and shit like that. I mean, I've never had a fire, you know, touch wood, so you know, pretty much no issues there. Yeah, so the six fans on the dual rads go to 2 like splitters. It's like a short 3-fan splitter is connected to the long EK 3-fan splitter, and then the Molex cable is extended through the case all the way up to the power supply by about 4 feet or something. Anyway, it bloody works, and there's 12 fans on 2 headers. I mean, there's I think is it that one down there? Hold on, where is it? Where's my headers here? Yeah, there's that one of them there. Oh, I can't remember which one it is now. Anyway, yeah, there's 12 fans on 2 headers, and then my case fans, which the back one's not working. I think it's knackered. I've got a white EK Varda up there, 2 black ones in the rear of that, 2 Antec ones there that came with the case that I cannibalised the motherboard tray off. You know, and the power supply bracket thing. So yeah, it's all up and running. I mean, you know, it works. I was gonna sort of try changing the fan configuration in the BIOS so I could have them running at like full blast, just to see what it sounded like, you know, and whether the cooling was any better. So we'll give that a whirl, and we'll see what happens. We'll start that up quickly and get into the BIOS. Oh, I need to clean my monitor. Get into the BIOS. Now we'll stop this video in a minute. Now we'll carry on again. Managed to get most of the air out of the reservoir. Topped it almost all the way up. I wanted to leave a little bit for expansion, and of course I've got the pipe anyway coming off to the fill port for the rest of the expansion. Oh, I managed to find a little white LED as well. Can't quite see it properly, but yeah, a little white LED. It's not brilliant. I might have to try and get like a high intensity one. That sort of slightly illuminates the reservoir. I mean, yeah, it's not a perfect job, but you know, needs must and all that. I'll get something better. So anyway, I'll just leave that there for a second while I configure the BIOS, and then you can have a look a little bit further. I'll go into a bit more in depth. So right, it's configured fans. So we'll save that to it's pretty quick booting, but I think it's a bit slower normally because of my 8TB drive. I think they tend to boot quicker when you don't have any traditional platter hard disk drives. Still pretty quick. I think it's like 9-10 seconds, something like that. So anyway, sensor panel working. Changed a few things. That there is my right hand side case fans. I think it might be the left hand side as well. Those 2 gauges are my radiator fans. I'm not sure which one's which. I think the left hand side one's the EK Vada and the other one's the Arctics. Then the bottom, that's my pump speed. That's my virtual memory. That's my actual memory. That's my wattage of a 9900K. That's 9900K. And obviously you got your threads. The temperatures of my CPU. GPU temp, which is 2C above ambient. Slowly rising. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll do a little test to see how quick the fans ramp up. How strong they get in. We'll do Cinebench R20 first. See, I've upped the turbo settings. In I don't overclock. I mean, it's pointless because this board allows a 5 gigahertz overclock anyway, pretty much. On all cores. So we'll run that and see what we get. So as soon as it hits 75C, it should ramp the fans up to 100%. So that's running at 100%. Those are the temps. 90C on one core, but then this is an AVX test, and actually says 4.8, which is weird. For some reason it's dropping. I'm assuming that's, yeah, it feels like 100% to be honest. It does feel like 100%. Not too bad, just one or two cores getting over 90. But then, like I said, Cinebench R20 is an AVX test anyway. It definitely uses AVX instructions. So yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, I think I'd pretty benefit from going push pull, but I can't do it easily with this because of how thick the desk is where I've mounted the radiators. I'd have to take the radiators off and put fans out on it. So it's like running 24 fans on the radiators. It's bloody pointless to be honest. I mean, this is benchmarking at the end of the day. Pretty much at the end of the day, all I want this for is for gaming, which is 2D and VR. I'm never going to hit 100% on VR on the 9900K. We've got the clocks. See, that says it's running 5 gigahertz, of course. So we'll go onto the bench to the stress test. So that's running 5 gigahertz, all cores, 144 watts, 5 gigahertz, stress test, CPU Z, 79, 7481. So yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Definitely dropped temperatures. Definitely adding those 2 extra radiators in has really helped drop the temperatures, which is what I wanted. I did a quick test with the RTX 380 last night in Firmac, I think it is, and it didn't go over 40C, which is at stock, so it's about right. I mean, I am running the CPU through the GPU as well, so it will transfer a little bit of heat over. But no, I'm pretty impressed with that. And to be honest, getting rid of the case was a big bonus. I mean, I've got a desk PC now, so I've got so much more room. It looks a lot cleaner. And of course everything's enclosed in the desk, which means anybody breaks in the house, they're going to have to lump off the bloody desk or rip things out the bloody motherboard. You know, whereas before they could have made off with the case. Not that anybody's going to break in. I mean, the back's all secure. The front, they'd have to come through the front door, and that's not going to happen. Besides, I've got a few little tools anyway. So yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. AEC, I think normally in this test it used to hit 80, 85 C, maybe even 90. So it's dropped it 5-10 degrees. You know, for just adding in a couple of spare radiators that I had already. You know, that weren't sort of doing anything, and it's been quite a fun project. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Still a little bit of air, I think, to get out of the res, but not much. You know, the bubbles will probably be there for a few months, I reckon. A few weeks at least. Got to sort out my case fans, obviously. Try and match them. Like I said, get some RGB. And I'll get some, sort out my LED lights as well. I don't think they're working right. I might even be able to rewire something up with the LEDs. I'll have to look into it on YouTube or Google, see what the process is. But yeah, it's